trying to... let's see if we can find some positives, despite the defeat. Did you see anything to encourage United fans in that?
Yeah, I think you can still see that they are a work in progress. You can see the poor defending for the goals. That's something that they certainly need to improve on. At times, they were susceptible to that quick counter-attack, which we said a lot of times last season. But he's sort of going for like a 4-2-4, if you like, with the two false nines. You think when Højlund comes back in, will that change slightly? Bringing on Zerski, they change things a little bit. They were unfortunate, weren't they, with the offside goal, where you thought, oh, Manchester United are going to win this at the end, and it was just offside. So they're certainly showing glimpses, and I think that's something, if they can keep everybody fit and available, like obviously last season they had so many injuries, they've obviously added to the squad. You think they come and they bed themselves in, however long that takes, then they'll certainly have a more successful campaign than they had last year. But yeah, I just think there's certain things to tweak still, but there is more positives than certainly last season.
I think they definitely need a left back. I think you can't rely on Luke Shaw and Malacia at the moment. I think they need that balance. Dallow's a great player, but playing in that left back position, he doesn't give you that natural ability to drive forward down the left hand side. But I also think the midfield's still an issue. And my big question here is, and no Sue's just said they're a work in progress. I look at the work that Maresca's done in a short space of time and Herzler straight away. I look at them and go, I can see what you're trying to achieve straight away. Now he's been in the job longer and I'm still not seeing what he's trying to achieve. So I'm still torn with Ten Hag as to what's going on at Manchester United. There's so much blame went off the pitch last season. Well, that's all getting corrected now. So the signs behind the scenes are positive. But on the pitch, I still think there's massive issues. That midfield area is... I love Kobbie Mainoo. I think he's an outstanding footballer. But he needs help alongside him. And I still feel Casemiro's not quite at the races. I don't think he gets helped in there. The turnover of possession is still too easy to get in at Man United at times. So... I understand the higher press and what they're trying to do, but there's still issues.
Conceding late goals, is that an issue? If so, what is that down to? How do you stop it?
Well, often it's because you leave yourself open because you're trying to push players forward and trying to win a game. But that, again, is not being organised out of possession or in possession when the ball turns over, and that can be an issue. Mentality can be that side of the game as well. Switching off, lack of understanding. There's can be a number of factors as to what it can be, but that will be an issue for him as well.
Yeah, we believe United have agreed a deal with Napoli to sell Scott McTominay. How much does that surprise you?
Well, I think it's 100% profit, isn't it? I think that's probably something that they've got in their minds. He came on in the game at the weekend. I think he came on in the first game as well. So does that mean that they're going to bring in another midfielder? Probably. I think Ugarte's been linked, hasn't he? And you just think that would help. You know, you just think having him alongside Mainoo, Casemiro, if and when. But you just feel the system that they're playing at the moment, they needed somebody alongside Casemiro just because they can't really leave him isolated. It's too much ground for him to cover. I know with Højlund not being available, that's probably why they've gone with the two false nines. And Mason Mount, I think it's a big season for him. It's unfortunate he had to come off at half-time just because of the amount of injuries that he had last year. He couldn't play consecutive games. So it's about getting everybody fit and available and those connections and those consistency, and then we can start maybe judging Manchester United a little bit more.
Does it include, though, Jadon Sancho going forward? Again, in the matchday squad, from what we're being told, they've patched up their differences. Ten Hag.
Well, they haven't.
Jadon Sancho.
I think that's apparent for everyone to see.
Well, I just go with what I'm told. Okay.
Sorry, Rob.
No. Is it becoming more and more obvious that he has to leave the club by Friday night, or can he stay and this can change?
Well, it can change because he might outsee the manager. So what's his option? Does he want to be a Manchester United player for the next 5 years or 3 years of his contract, whatever it might be? Does he see himself being a Manchester United player for years to come? Because if he does, then he might have to just go out on loan again and outsee this manager, because I'm still not convinced he'll be there the end of this season. Or if he is, I can't see it being beyond this season. So that's an option that he's got to look at. The frustrating part is we all know he's a good player and he needs to play football, because you're a long time forgotten in football. So if you sit in the reserves and you see out your contract, or you see out the remainder of this season, it becomes very difficult and people forget about you and they think, well, he hasn't got the hunger for the game, he might not have the quality still. People start to question you. Whereas if you go out on loan and get games, showcase what you can do, i.e. the Borussia Dortmund move, which was fantastic for him, playing in the Champions League final and being a pivotal player for Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund along the way. We know he's got quality. He obviously doesn't fit in with Erik Ten Hag's plans, and he doesn't get the buzz from going into training and get that a feeling that he is wanted. Whereas when he was at Borussia Dortmund, he did. So he's got a big decision to make one way or another, but it depends what he sees as his long-term future club.